So we're going to go from very beginning to getting to 30K per month. If you have no marketing budget and you're just getting started, just get your they crush it organically. And we've gotten jobs just from those. So definitely don't neglect that. A lot of people don't realize this. Just doing more of what we've already discussed, that alone can get you to 30K. She wanna fight with the wolves. She wanna fight with the What's up, guys? It's Michael Pisco, and recently I hosted a free live event where I showed people exactly how to go from $0 to $30,000 per month in their pressure washing business. I decided to take the recording from that event so you guys can get value from it also. Make sure you guys stick around to the end and let's dive in. We're starting from 0 to 5K, so imagining you have absolutely nothing, how you can get the momentum and get the ball rolling. You guys might be past this part, you might be a few steps ahead, or you might be a few steps ahead with some of these steps missing. So we're just going to start as if you guys have nothing. So first few steps we'll cover are the basic stuff. Again, some of this is obvious and we'll get into more intricate stuff in a little bit. But number one, if you have nothing going for you, if you have no marketing budget and you're just getting started, contact everybody in your network. Contact your friends, your family, offer your services to them, offer major discounts, do even free servicing if you need to, just to get reviews and content and get referrals from them. But reach out to everybody you know and do free service for them or discounted service. Take that content from all the work that you have done and now post it on social media. Let's just say you've done 5 discounted or free jobs. You made a few $100s. Most importantly, you have reviews and you have content. So take that content, go to social media, post it on every free platform. So post it on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, which is now X, post on Google My Business, Yelp, LinkedIn, Nextdoor, Craigslist. There's even more platforms than that, but literally post on every single platform that's free. There's platforms where you can post it once and it'll throw it to every single one of your social media pages. But if not, like, it takes a few extra minutes to post on these other things. So just post it everywhere. The type of content you want to post is number one, professional content showing before and after pictures and projects you've done. If you don't have content of your work yet, then ask people in our program, ask us for content, find other examples online and say, this is what we could do for you. Don't claim as your own, but say, this is an example of something we could do for you. Post special offers every now and then and have clear call to actions like we talked about in the last call. I'm not going to talk about that too much now, but have clear call to action so people know exactly what to do to get their desired outcome. And then other forms of content aside from before and after pictures is post pictures of the reviews you get from your customers. And that's really helpful when it comes to just building trust and credibility. So post the reviews you guys get and then post personable videos of yourself as well. Videos of you talking about your services, who you are, showing you're part of the local community. If you can go out to a local sports game, show like you're actually there in person representing your business. Those work really well. Another thing too is just get your viral videos. They crush it organically. Like if you post those funny videos of yourself with your branded shirt and stuff like that, people, share it with their friends, they comment on it, they tag people. And we've gotten jobs just from those posts alone because people want to work with us because they know we're a funny company. So definitely, don't neglect that type of content. Aside from that, post in every Facebook group in your area. There's hundreds. In most markets, there's, 100 to 200 groups you can be posting in. In some markets, there aren't quite that many groups. There might be, on the lower end, like 50, but there's still way more groups out there than you even imagine. So join all the local groups, post in every single one of them at least once a week. Post a giveaway on all platforms. Follow this exact strategy. What's going to happen is you're going to post a giveaway. You're going to get dozens, if not hundreds of people that are commenting on it, wanting to win. If they want to win, that means they want your house washing services or your whatever service you're giving away. They want that service, which means they're a potential customer. So they're a lead. And so when you give it, you're going to choose one winner. Obviously, you should actually honor that, but you're going to have dozens of people that did not win. What you're going to do is say like, hey, you still won. What you won is a discount. You're getting XYZ deal because you've registered for this giveaway. And then you just give them 10% off, $50 off, whatever you want to do, just throw them a bone. But you're going to get tons of work for free from a giveaway that costs you nothing aside from one free project. And then start planting the seeds on local partnerships, connect with local businesses, offer discounted services. You can leave marketing material at the front of their office or whatever the space is. And then something I really like to do, I think it's a no-brainer, is do free demos. Like just go out, do a small portion, whether it's, the front of their building, a sidewalk, whatever it is, do a small free demo. Because what's going to happen is it's going to, eat away at their OCD. Like if you did a small part, but not the rest, now they need to get it done. They're going to hate that one part that looks super nice and clean. And now the rest is not. So now they have even more desire to get it clean. And you already did the free demo. They know you're good at the work. So they're just going to go with you. So I know a lot of people aren't crazy about, doing free work. I don't want to do that. I'm too good for that. But in reality, what's going to happen is like, once you do the free demo, there's no more back and forth, no long sales process. They're just going to go with you. So your close rate's going to skyrocket if you do something small for free. And then also the LinkedIn strategy. We'll mention on the commercial workshop we're going to do here in the next few weeks, but LinkedIn is a big strategy as well for getting commercial work. So I'll leave it at that because we're going to do a whole masterclass on that in the future. All right, door knocking. Go to the higher income neighborhoods or the neighborhoods where you want to be working and just door knock. Get your business out there. Follow the 3-tier pricing strategy from the get-go. From right off the rip, start doing 3-tier pricing strategy, because if you're beginning and you're just getting started, you're probably not great at sales yet. You're not too confident in selling your services yet. So you're probably going to get a majority of it closes on the lower end. But eventually what's going to happen is you're going to get someone who accepts a $1,000 quote or an $800 quote or a $1,500 quote. And now when you're seeing people are willing to invest that type of money in your services, and then they're happy with the money they invested in you, you're going to get more comfortable asking for that type of money. And so over time, you're just going to raise your prices, and your tier 1 is now going to become a $500, $600, $700 quote, as opposed to that being your tier 3. So right off the get-go, you should be offering 3-tier pricing. So you get a higher average ticket, but you also just get a higher close rate. You're going to close way more jobs by offering which option do you want, as opposed to yes or no. Do you want this price? Yes or no? Instead of doing that, if you give them 3 options, now it's do you want option A, B, or C? It's a different type of question. And so people are more likely to move forward with you. Start building your Google My Business. This is not going to get you results overnight. Even within a few weeks or a few months, you probably won't get results, but you're planting the seed for future marketing. If you start this now, then over the next 6-12 months, you're going to start ranking higher and higher. And not only are you going to be credible, you can show people, hey, look at all the 5-star reviews we have, but you're also going to rank higher in the future. And so you're going to start getting more and more work from that alone. So start planting that seed now. And then also just posting on Google My Business. Post twice per week, nothing more, nothing less than that. Twice per week, change it up every single time. And it's always going to be pictures. One day should be a picture of a before and after of a house wash, one day a roof wash, one day a gutter cleaning, one day driveway, switch it up every single time. And then use keywords every single time. So if you did a driveway picture, say this was a driveway cleaning, and then say this was a pressure washing service and then exterior cleaning service. So say the same thing in multiple different ways. So different verbiage, so different keywords, and then also mention location multiple times. So say the city, say the county, say the state, say that multiple times throughout your post. And your caption for Google My Business is different than other social media. For Google My Business, you usually want it to be about 6 to 10 sentences long. So roughly 2-ish paragraphs. Make sure you guys are doing that. Like I said, exactly twice per week is ideal. As for your website, you should start building it now. In these early stages, it's not quite as important. It should not be a factor in keeping you from wanting to grow the business, but it is something you should start looking into. If you're doing it yourself, you can definitely start doing this at nighttime during non-revenue generating hours. That's what I call daytime, when you can be outdoor knocking, doing sales. That's revenue generating hours. During non-revenue generating hours, which is when it's nighttime or super early in the morning, that's when you do other tasks that, isn't generating revenue directly. So, building your website. If you're doing it yourself, you can spend every night doing that for a few weeks and you'll have your website ready to go. If you're hiring a company, then just start looking into companies. At this stage, you can't afford to hire a company yet, but you can at least start looking into companies and finding someone that could do it once you are ready and get an idea for the budget for that. And we talked about getting content at every single job, and then provide estimates in person to build more rapport, especially in those early stages. Like if you're doing estimates in person, you're going to see a way higher close rate. And then if you can do the strategy I mentioned, literally do this one thing or 2 things, I guess. Wear a professional shirt with your logo, a polo t-shirt, have a presentation on tablet, your close rate's going to skyrocket. Doing that alone, like even if you don't sound much more educated than your competitors, you're going to look more educated, and that alone is going to attract people towards you. So do that. You're going to see a major increase in your close rate. But the main thing too is actually educate your customers. If you can be in person with them, you can point out trouble areas, explain why that's an issue, why they need to get it resolved. And, like I said, in person, you're just going to see more closes. As you scale, you can start to do virtual estimates, but initially it's a no-brainer to do in-person estimates. Moving on to phase 2. So now this is getting to the part where you kind of have some money to invest, still not a ton, but you're starting to stack up that budget to invest in your marketing. So like I said, at this point, you should probably have at least $500 to $1,000 to invest in your marketing. If your budget is on the lower end, then just start off with yard signs. It's super hard to not succeed with yard signs. Anyone can put up a yard sign and get good results with it. It's really not that difficult. So it's a conservative way of doing it. If you're amazing at Facebook ads, or you're working with someone that can help you with that, then sure, go Facebook ads route. But if not, the safest bet is just do yard signs. With 50 yard signs, you'll still have some money left over, probably to get some postcards or door hangers. So you should also do that. That way you can door knock. At these early stages, 100% you should be door knocking. I mean, it's free work that you're getting, but also build your skills to door knocking. I can't stress how important door knocking is, but you need to have some materials that you can leave with people. If someone answers and they're not ready to move forward, you got to be able to give them something to hold on to. Or if someone doesn't answer the door, you got to be able to leave something there. So there might be opportunity for them to see it and give you a call, especially if you did work in that neighborhood as well, because if they see their neighbor's house looking nice, if they heard you were in the neighborhood, they heard your equipment, and now they're seeing your postcard or your door hanger, and they're saying, damn, I need to get this taken care of. I might as well call this company that just took care of my neighbor's home. And so my neighbor's happy. I'm sure I'll be happy with the service as well. If you do have a larger budget, then I would definitely try to leverage multiple strategies. So I'd say if your budget's around like $1,000, I would recommend, again, this is depend on how confident you are on your Facebook ads. If you're just going to, throw together like honestly a shitty picture, like a before and after picture with not much editing, it doesn't look that attractive, or a non-edited video, essentially. Like if it's not gonna be good quality content, I wouldn't go the route of running Facebook ads because it's easy to burn through money. But if you follow the stuff we talked about this week and you're pretty confident in the Facebook ads that you've built out, then I would spend half that budget on Facebook ads, the other half on multiple things. So again, get the yard signs, and then you also should have some wiggle room to get some other stuff. The t-shirts I mentioned, get a professional t-shirt for yourself and any employees you might have. At this stage, you might not yet have employees, but we're going to talk about getting employees in just a second. So get clothes for your employees as well, so they look professional. An A-frame sign is an absolute no-brainer. It's not that expensive. It's pretty cheap. And the return on investment on an A-frame sign is great. I mean, it lasts so long. And essentially what you're doing is you take the A-frame sign. For those of you that might not know what I mean, it's this thing right here, this sign that you put in the middle of the sidewalk when you're doing a project. When you put that in the middle of a project, people are walking their dogs, they're going to walk, they're walking their babies, whatever they're doing. People are out being active. So what's going to happen is they're going to see in the middle of the sidewalk, they're going to see your A-frame sign, and they're going to see the caution. They're going to like, oh crap, something's going on. Let me read it to see what's going on really quick. And then they're going to see you're doing exterior cleaning services. And then again, if that's something that they might need, immediately it's going to start the gears in their brain to realize I kind of need a service. I might as well reach out to them while they're already in the neighborhood. So oftentimes they'll just go up to you and say, like, ask you questions about your service. If not, then have a QR code on your A-frame. But what we do is, instead of having this guarantee thing, which no one cares for this stuff nowadays, have a QR code. They're going to be in a few feet distance from this sign. Have a QR code they can go up to, scan, bring them right to a website or whatever you want to do. But have your QR code as well as a phone number and website, so they can give you a call or text. They can go to your website. They can scan the QR code, but make it super easy for them to be able to contact you. And then same thing as before, postcard, door hangers. Those are no-brainers for door knocking. And then this link, if you guys do want to check it out, it's not too cheap, but it's discounted. So like if you were to buy all this stuff individually, it'd probably be close to like $900, $1,000. So we basically partner with UZ Marketing, and they put together this bundle for us to share with our clients. I know not everyone on this call is a client, but like you'll still have access to this. So if you want to go this route, it's 50 yard signs, it's an A-frame sign, it's magnets, which I'm going to talk about in a little bit as well. It's a 5 polo t-shirt. If you only need 1 or 2 right now, you can always save some for the future. Better to have too much than too little. Door hangers, which is huge. And then you can have them design it for free. I recommend, like, we have templates we can share with you guys if you want, or you can just get it designed on Fiverr or something like that. But this bundle, I mean, it's super cheap compared to if you were to get everything individually.
That bundle is super cheap because realistically, like the 50 yard signs can theoretically already give you the positive ROI.
So 50 yard signs alone is probably going to like at least 5x, if not more, your investment on that whole bundle. But then obviously once you have all that other stuff added on as well. And then last thing is prioritize inbound calls, inbound leads, and speed to lead. We literally ran a test. It might have been a year and a half ago, but we took 100 random pressure washing business owners. We had someone call every single one of them, and less than a third of those people answered. Like, how crazy is that? Like, people are calling you, wanting to give you money. They want your services, and people aren't answering the phone. So even if you think, oh, it's probably spam, I don't recognize this number, I don't recognize this area code, doesn't matter. Pick up the phone. If you're the one that's on the truck doing the service, have your AirPods in so when you can hear when someone's calling. You can have your Apple Watch on you. Do whatever you got to do. Have your phone on you, but answer those calls. And if you can't, then hire a call center, have your friend or your wife find someone to do it for you, but you got to answer your calls. Like, there's so much money left on the table by people not answering their phones. Next, I want to talk about setting objectives. The goal here is obviously to get to 30K. That's the initial goal. After that, obviously everyone's different. Some people want to scale to $1 million a year, some 5 million a year, some 500,000 a year. But we're just saying for the initial goal of 30K per month, what does that actually mean? If you're working 20 days per month, then you need to make 1,500 per day. If you're working more, then that number's a bit less. If you're working less, then that number per day is going to be a bit higher. But let's just say, safe numbers, you're doing 20 days per month, meaning you're going to have to make $1,500 per day to make 30K by the end of the month. That's really only 1 to 2 jobs per day at $200 per hour. So if you're doing 8 hours in a day, you're going to see about $1,600 in revenue, 7 hours a day, about 1,400. So let's say average is going to put you around that 1,600, 1,500 ballpark. That's usually about 1 to 2 jobs per day. 1 to 2 jobs per day really is not that much. Like for most of you guys, if you're pretty efficient, pretty good at what you can do, you can probably do that on your own. But just to be safe, be more efficient and try to be able to handle more than 2 projects a day, you might want to hire someone to assist you. So a technician. But even if you hire a technician, and at this stage, I do recommend starting to go about that process so you can be a business owner and not just a glorified pressure washer. But it just depends on your personal life at this point, whether you can hire 2 people and completely get off the truck and focus on growing the business, or if you need to be able to pay yourself more based on your personal life and you have these expenses and personal income that you need to hit. If you do need to have higher profit margins to pay yourself more, then hire 1 technician and stay on the truck, continue doing the work so you don't need to pay out another employee. You're probably going to spend about 10% of the job value for the employee. And then if you have 2 technicians, you're going to jump that up to 20%. So that does eat away what's going into your pocket. If you have the means of being able to hire 2 technicians and you're okay with getting less profit, less take home for yourself, then by all means, hire 2 technicians. That way you're completely off the truck and you can focus on marketing, sales, and actually growing the business. But again, everyone's business is different. So if you don't have the liberty of doing that, hire 1 person so you can be more efficient, more quick, and handle more work and still maintain good margins. And then tracking marketing. So this is a super important. At this stage, this is where it comes into play because this is where your money is on the line. You're actually spending money on marketing at this point. So you need to make sure for every dollar you put it in, you're actually seeing a return on investment. And if not, that's fine. You're learning from it. Cut that thing out and focus on what's actually working. But again, if you don't know your numbers, if you're not tracking the data, you're just making emotional decisions rather than data-driven decisions. So track where each job is coming from and determine what your cost per lead is, especially at this stage. Like if you're only doing $5,000, $10,000 a month, that's really not too many jobs, maybe a few dozen. So you can track every single job, see where every single job came from. First off, just to recap, you want to track your cost per lead and your cost per acquisition. Cost per acquisition meaning how much money you're spending to acquire that customer. So for example, let's break it down with yard signs. Let's just say you spent $300 on yard signs and you received 10 calls from the yard signs and close to 5 jobs. Your cost per lead is going to be $300 divided by 10 leads. So the total you spent is $300 divided by the 10 leads you got, which means your cost per lead is going to be $30. And then your cost per acquisition, assuming you got 5 jobs, is going to be $300. The total you spent divided by 5 jobs, which means your cost per acquisition is going to be $60. Now, what's going to happen is you're doing multiple marketing strategies. So for one strategy, your cost per acquisition is going to be $60. For one, it's going to be $40. For one, it's going to be $100. Once you get data, you're going to get an idea of what your cost per lead and what your cost per acquisition for each strategy looks like. And then you're going to determine which one you want to spend more money on, which one you want to spend less on. Maybe there's one that's absolutely crushing. And so you want to allocate more of your budget towards that. And maybe there's a strategy that's doing terrible that you need to cut out immediately, or maybe just do better at. And so again, that comes down to knowing your numbers. If you don't know your numbers, then you're just making blind decisions and you could be making decisions that's actually hurting your growth. So track your cost per lead, track your cost per acquisition for all marketing efforts. And like I said, double down on the most profitable strategies. I mean, a big thing here, a lot of people don't realize this. People try to overcomplicate it, throw in all these strategies. Like, as you can tell at this point, I've talked about like maybe 4 marketing strategies, like not a crazy amount of stuff. Do more of what works. Honestly, just doing more of what we've already discussed, that alone can get you to 30K. Like if you're having Facebook ads and yard signs or 2 or 3 things that are working, just do more of it. You're probably not going to see diminishing returns at such a small scale like this. Like 30K is pretty small scale. So you can scale up your marketing efforts and still see similar results. And so if you just do more of something that's already working, then it's still going to work. So don't overcomplicate it, scale up what is working. And now moving on to the 10 to 30K, which is phase 3. So invest in a CRM if you don't already have one. I'd recommend probably doing that sooner than later. But worst case scenario, at this point, you definitely have to have one, because if not, I mean, between juggling people on your personal phone and spreadsheets, and it's gonna be super messy and unorganized. So definitely get a CRM so you could keep track of all your leads and customers in one place. And then if you can also get a CRM where there's automated messaging, that's gonna be a game changer, because then if you get an inbound lead from Facebook or yard signs or something else, rather than you having to manually chase them, your automations will do that for you. Then you just need to worry about calling them. So definitely invest in a CRM if you don't have one already. Like I said, during the project, put out the A-frame sign and put out about 4 to 6 yard signs in that neighborhood. So you're usually going to be in a neighborhood that, has multiple exits within that neighborhood. Put it in every single exit you can. Just put it all within the neighborhood in a distance where people can hear the pressure washer, hear you working. So they know you're in the neighborhood. They see your yard signs and they know exactly who you are. You're not going to keep all 4 to 6 yard signs there because it's probably going to get taken down pretty quickly. But what you're going to do is once you complete the project, you're going to pick up some of the yard signs. You're going to leave one at the home you just serviced. Obviously, you're going to ask for permission, but most homeowners have no problem. So you'll leave it on their yard and you'll tell them, I'll be back in a few weeks to pick it up. So you can come back 2, 3 weeks later, 4 weeks later, whatever, and pick it up. But you're also going to leave other yard signs in that neighborhood, probably about 1 to 3. If you want to leave all 4 to 6, you can, but I probably recommend around like 1 to 3 yard signs in the neighborhood. And then you're also going to leave your customer with other materials. So these materials specifically are for retention. So magnets, pens, bag clips, these things are really good because people keep it. If someone gets a magnet, they like to, they want their fridge just full of stuff, show how much they got going on in their life. So they just throw up whatever magnet they get. If you give them a pen, people want to use pens, they're not going to throw it out. So they'll put it with their pens and they'll use it at some point, especially bag clips. I think this is so underrated, and maybe I'm biased because I just have so many bags that I use bag clips for. But honestly, people use bag clips, and as long as it's not a shitty bag clip that breaks within like a day or two, like if it's a decent bag clip, like people are probably going to keep that for years. So for years, every time they're going to grab a bag of chips or cereal, whatever they're doing, they're seeing your branding. And so when they need the service done, what are they going to do? They're going to go to Google and search for a service? No, they're going to go to their kitchen where they have a bag of chips where they know that your business is on that bag clip, and they're going to call you. And then gift cards is another thing to get them to share it with friends, family, anyone that could leverage it. Or if not sharing it, then tell them, hey, save this for next year and you can use it next year. Now, like they have to work with you next year because they already have a gift card. So they might as well claim that money. And then while you're in the neighborhood as well, another thing is door knocking. We talked about this earlier. Door knock in the nearest at least 10 to 20 homes. If the homeowner does answer, try to just, if you can, obviously depends on your schedule, but if you can, just do the project right then and there. Like you can tell them, hey, we're in the area already, so we'll be able to remove the traveling fee. That would usually be XYZ amount, and it would only come out to blank, give them whatever the quote would be. Try to get the project done right then and there. If they want to book, but not for right then and there, then either way, take down the information, invoice them, get it booked right then and there, get it locked in on the schedule. Or if they're not willing to book right now and they need a bit more time or whatever reason it is, but they are interested, but just not right now, leave them its materials like we mentioned so they have a way of contacting you, but also take down their information because it happens pretty often. Like if you give them a postcard, door hanger, something like that, like a piece of paper that's pretty easy to throw out, they'll just throw it out at some point, or they'll put it down and then someone else will throw it out and they didn't even realize. So now they have no way of contacting you. So if you take their information, then you can follow up with them a week later, 2 weeks later, a month later. And especially if you have the CRM with the automated campaigns, the automations will follow up with them for you. So you don't need to lift a finger, but you're touching base with that homeowner. So when they are ready, they'll know how to contact you. If you knock on a door and they do not answer, just leave materials at their house. And when you're returning a few weeks later to pick up your yard sign, you can also door knock in that neighborhood again and hit on all the houses where they did not answer. And if they don't answer again, I'd recommend doing a second round of leaving marketing materials, but leave a different type of material, but definitely hit those houses again when you're back in the neighborhood. Branded folders. So Miguel, do you have your branded folders on you?
All right, so check this out. These folders are absolutely awesome. As you open them up, they have a little cubby to hold, a little slot, I should call it, not a damn cubby, where you can add your business card or even a gift card. And then the back plain has a QR code as well, has our brand colors. So the brand awareness, we're able to continue pushing that as well throughout these folders. And Michael, are you going to speak on the contents within the folder?
Yeah, I'm going to hit on that right now. If you have anything to add, just let me know. But the goal with your whole sales process is stand out, look professional. A lot of pressure washing businesses do not look professional. And so if you just do that one thing, your close rate's going to skyrocket and you're going to be able to charge a premium because you're perceived as a premium brand. With the folders, you're doing this in the sales process. If you're going out in person doing the quote, you're going to leave materials with them. So leave a folder with them. In it, have a document printed out with screenshots of your Google reviews, screenshots of your frequently asked questions page from your website. So any questions they have will be answered. So instead of going to your website, it's just on the document right there. Have before and after pictures of past projects you've done, like anything you could think of that could be valuable to the customer and helping them make a decision, throw in that folder. In that slot, we'll usually add like the $50 gift card that Miguel just showed you guys. But if not, like you don't have the gift card, add a business card or magnet or something. But like I said, give it out during the servicing or during the estimate. And then after the service is provided, we recommend giving them a referral sheet. Here's just a quick view of what that looks like. It doesn't need to be anything crazy. Again, just look professional. So have your logo, business name, all that stuff added. But essentially what you want to do is you want them to add in the name, phone number, contact information of any person they could potentially refer. Miguel, you might want to add on more to this, but the referral program is huge. So especially if you have like an actual process behind it, if you have a solidified process in a way that the customer can benefit for referring people, and then an easy process for them to actually do that, like literally the document, stand in front of them. Now they feel like entitled, like they have to do it. They're with you. Or if you're going to, leave it with them and then come back a few days later to do the project, or a few days later to pick up the yard signs, and give them a few days to work on it. But Miguel, do you want to hit on anything I didn't already touch on that?
Yeah, I definitely love to leverage the referral program, especially like the physical copy of a sheet, which we always carry with us at every job. I'd like to leverage that, most importantly, right after we ended up taking that lap with the client, right? Because at that point, they're ecstatic with the end result, and pretty much they're at the peak of kind of just the happiness and then the enthusiasm. And that will be the point where we've noticed that we've gotten clients that are more willing to just honestly slot down a bunch of names. If you implement it every single job, you'll notice that there will be some clients that just go off. They're adding like 4 or 5 names, and it's all for good reason. For every single person that actually ends up getting a job with us done, they get a $50 gift card, which literally could use for any of the services that you offer. So it ends up being an absolute no-brainer. And if you don't have the gift cards, real quick, then have another structure in place where maybe you've given a $25 or $50 Amazon gift card. So some people like think about $50 Amazon gift cards a whole lot. Well, in many cases, that's a job that you otherwise would not have seen. So what's $50 to, let's say, an average ticket of $450, $650, right? So it's an absolute no-brainer.
Yeah, and transparently speaking, people are a lot more attracted to the idea of getting an Amazon gift card, to be honest, but eventually it does kind of stack up. So maybe use that initially, but once it does stack up to the point where it's kind of eating away at your margins, that's when I switched over to a gift card, because then just doing a gift card, really, it's not eating away at anything. You can just work that into your pricing. But something else too. So obviously from your customers, once the project's complete, get the referrals, get the Google reviews. That's super important. But what can be an absolute game changer is if they're local, or if they're active on Facebook or Nextdoor, especially when you're dealing with like the stay-home mom who she's on Facebook online looking for something to do. If you can give her a reason to go on Facebook and post, this works super well when you can get someone that's active in a Facebook group to post the before and after pictures and a caption saying, I just got this done by XYZ company. It came out amazing. Thank you so much. And then what's going to happen is, you comment on the post, give them the contact number. You're going to get tons of people replying to it. It's immediate social proof, clearly not spam, because anyone can check the profile and see they're a real person. And so it does go a long way. And sometimes like those posts will get tons, like hundreds or at least dozens of comments, especially on Nextdoor. Like you can get a lot of traction on Nextdoor. Like customers that you kind of have a good like back and forth with, good rapport with, I would definitely ask if they would be willing to post on Facebook or something. And you can even go as far as giving them like an additional discount if they're willing to do something like that. And then at this point, you've been doing free strategies from phase 1 and paid strategies from phase 2. Scale up what is working. At this point, you have an idea of what's working, what's not working so much for your business and your market. So scale up what is working and don't spend time on the stuff that is not working. Don't spend time or money on the stuff that is not working. All right, increase your marketing budget on your top return on investment marketing strategy, like I've been mentioning. And the goal is to essentially find out for every $1 you put in, how much you're getting back. Eventually, again, it's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen in week 1 of advertising. But once you've been doing this for a few months, you're gathering data, you're getting an idea of the type of recurring themes you're seeing, the type of return you're getting. You're going to know for every dollar you put in, how much you're getting back, assuming you're tracking properly. So what's going to happen is you're going to have all these different strategies you're doing. Whatever is seeing the best return on investment, allocate more of the budget towards that. If it's doing decent, but not too great, keep some of the budget there, because if something else slows down, that's still there to keep you busy. And if something is just absolutely doing terrible, just cut it out, as long as you've given it like a true shot and you've given it your all and you've tried multiple approaches and you think you did a good job, but it didn't work, just cut it out. The Facebook ads are working best. I recommend definitely increase the budget, but implement more images and videos. So try out new creatives. You don't really need to try new testing audiences, super important, but once you have a good audience, you don't need to change that up. But creatives, you definitely need to change up creative so you don't get ad fatigue. So try out new images, try out new videos. And what's going to happen again with Facebook especially is you're going to find out how much money it takes to get one customer. So what your cost per acquisition is. Let's just say it turns out your cost per acquisition is $50. If you want to get one job a day just from Facebook, spend $50 a day. On average, you're going to get about one job per day from Facebook. If you want to get more jobs, then if you want to get two jobs a day, up it to $100, you can see the same results. So just figure out what the numbers look like and then base your ad spend on that. Last few points here. If yard signs are working best, then buy more and split test yard signs. Miguel had just shown you guys like 3 different examples of yard signs. So some were branded, some were not branded, some had a QR code, some did not. Some said house washing, pressure washing, gutter cleaning, like change it up, start split testing different approaches. And then on the phone, just ask customers like, which yard sign did you see? What did it say on it? House washing. Great. Just jot that down and move on about your day. Like it doesn't cost anything to ask them that quick question. And over time, you're going to see, okay, so it looks like my house washing sign got me more projects than my gutter cleaning sign, or maybe the complete opposite. Your gutter cleaning got way more traction than the other one. So test multiple, same thing with yard signs. This is the same with any marketing strategy. You can split test and try different variables, but testing the variables without tracking is useless. So make sure you're split testing, but also tracking to see which version is working better. Continue buying traditional materials and ideally materials to leave with customers for retention. So like I said, magnets, pens, back clips. This is longer term thinking. This isn't for immediate results, but it really does help long term. I can't tell you how many times people have called us. They completely forgot our number, but they knew they had the magnet or they had the pen or the back clip. And so that's how they're able to find us. At this point, start introducing new paid advertising strategies as well. Again, let's just say your budget is $1,000 or $1,500, $2,000 a month, whatever it is. Majority of that should be going towards what's already working. And in most cases, you just want to scale up what's working. But over time, you do have a little bit of wiggle room where you want to start testing some new stuff too, like TikTok ads, Google local service ads, especially. I'd say that would be the next best thing is introducing Google local service ads. But eventually you are going to get to the point where you have some wiggle room where you can test new stuff. And so don't put a big portion of your budget towards that when you have stuff already working. But definitely put some of your budget towards that so you can start testing new things. Being omnipresent is great because if one thing slows down one day, then you have other things that are still keeping you busy. Whereas if you're heavily reliant on one thing, if that one thing just suddenly crashes, then you're not getting any new business. So some new things you can do, like I said, Google local service. The reason I recommend that is it's really easy. Like anyone can set it up. It's not that hard. And then as long as you set it up well, you set it up once and you're done. You don't need to like manage it or make any changes, optimizations. So that's great. Other platforms I recommend trying out: TikTok ads, Craigslist, Groupon, Yelp. Those depend on the market. Like for example, in California, Yelp crushes it in some places, but in somewhere like Texas, not so much. So it definitely depends on your market. But TikTok, Craigslist, Groupon, Yelp, there's way more platforms that you guys can try out as well. And the only thing I recommend to keep in mind is do not get shiny object syndrome. So don't look at TikTok ads and be like, oh, this is cool. No one in my market does this. So let me take 50% of my marketing budget and try out this new thing that I don't know is going to work or not, when you have stuff working already. Like majority of your budget, at least 80%, if not 90% of your budget should be on the things that you already know works. But you can put like 10% of your marketing budget towards new stuff just to try to introduce new things if you can get something else that works. And then if it does, you can spend more money on that. But make sure it's not shiny object syndrome. Make sure it's proper test. Make sure you're willing to lose that money, essentially. Like if it doesn't work at all, it's only 10% of your marketing budget, so it shouldn't really impact your business much. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed that video showing you exactly how to go from $0 to $30,000 per month in your pressure washing business. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss my future uploads. And if you want to see how me and my team could actually work with you to help you grow your business, then I'll leave a link in the description for you to book a call to speak with me personally about how we can take over your digital marketing and coach you one-on-one to help you grow your business. With that being said, I'll see you guys in the next video.